And just like that, we are back with another Savage stream. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I had a lightning strike that took out my router and my modem. Both of them will no longer power on. So I had to run to the store and get just basically like a temporary device, because I have some other plans, and I'm going to be upgrading my home network anyway. And it was kind of frustrating that I had to go and buy something that I'm probably not going to use in the pretty near future. I'm not going to be using it anyway. So I had to run out and get that and get it all set up and re-provisioned and all that stuff. And it's, it took a little bit of time. So that's why I'm a little bit running a little bit late. Plus, I'm kind of like everything's all hectic right now because I'm trying to get things organized. So, but we will just get right into it here. Basically, last night we covered Conceal Live, or what little we knew about Conceal Live, and what little I knew, because it was like a leak, and I just hadn't had a lot of time to collect a lot of information. But because of the video, the devs and I kind of talked, and some things were brought to light, like what the things I was saying were not actually that accurate. So I'm going to clear all that up tonight, hopefully, so I can sleep well tonight, because once I realized what I was saying, I was like, this doesn't even make sense. So I'm going to clear all that up. Last night I discussed it, and I was a little bit off because, like I said, we didn't have that much information. So, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's see here. So I stated last night that it appeared to be on chain, like the whole messaging features were on chain, because the wallet, or not the wallet, but the messenger shows that you can send and receive CCX. Remember, we looked at these pictures, and I think it was this one, I think. Yeah, it shows right here, like you can send CCX. So whenever I saw this, I was like, it must somehow be on chain, but that's not true. Okay, so let me clear that up. It's not on chain. This is not something that happens on chain. Although you will be able to send and receive CCX, but that uses the cloud features of Conceal. So Conceal has Conceal Cloud, the web wallet basically, and that actually uses, I think it's let's see, I think I have it up. So the web wallet, cloud wallet here, has the mobile wallet is a progressive web app, and so is this. These use the cloud, and so the messaging app is going to use the cloud also to do the sending and receiving of CCX. So hopefully that makes sense, because it didn't make any sense last night whenever I was saying it. So anyway, so that's it could be true that you would use an on-chain messenger. There are projects that do that, but they use the nodes in a different way. So they have their own network of nodes that are facilitating this feature of messaging on-chain messaging, encrypted messaging. In this case, that's not what they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing it peer-to-peer, completely off-chain on the messaging side. So just to clear that up, hopefully that clears it up. Anyway, so another thing that I said was that this was not something that I said that this kind of came out of nowhere, right? Again, not true, because if I would have taken a step back and looked at their roadmap and the results of the consensus from last year, the community consensus, and what they voted on, then there is a peer-to-peer messaging app in the consensus results, okay? So I don't know why. I think in my mind, the reason that I didn't really focus on this right here as a result from the consensus is because they already have messaging. Okay, so I wasn't putting two and two together on the fact that this was already here. This send message, messaging. This is different. This is on-chain, blockchain type messages, encrypted and all that stuff. But this is different. What this is talking about is actually, like it says here, very clearly, peer-to-peer dedicated messenger app. Now, I didn't know it was going to be voice and video and all that stuff. That is cool. So I don't know why I just kind of overlooked this, but it was the third most voted on thing, which is really cool. Okay, they've already done the deposits revamp. I don't know if they're working on private browser, and the other stuff, but this is the next thing that is in. Actually, no, the next thing is Q3. They will have deposits and messaging, I think, is the two things in the cloud wallet. So you can see right now they don't have, I think they're going to be messaging and deposits in the cloud wallet. That's going to be Q3, and then Q4 is going to be the Conceal Live, the messenger, the peer-to-peer messenger, end-to-end encrypted messenger. So that Q3, Q4, that's what they're going to be looking at. And if you look on their roadmap, I believe I've got it up over here. So if you look at the roadmap, I don't believe that, I don't know, maybe I was just overlooking it, but I could swear that this is kind of like new. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but I could swear I was like, this was not there before. But anyway, maybe it was. I'll have to look back through my previous videos. I want to see if they actually threw this on there, right, like after the fact. But anyway, so it is on there, and I don't see, right here, cloud and mobile messaging. Yep. And I know that here's deposits on cloud and mobile. Okay, so it is both. They're working on deposits on cloud and mobile and cloud and mobile messaging, self-destructing messages. I would assume that is the same thing as what's in the desktop wallet. So this type of messaging here. And then on top of that, later on, Q4, they're going to hit up Conceal Live, which is the decentralized peer-to-peer encrypted platform for video and audio calls. I saw a couple of other things that were added in here. I think that were added after the fact, like Conceal Platform. I don't remember seeing that in there. So I don't know. I need to talk to the guys and see what's going on here. But anyway, so I wanted to point out that it was part of consensus. It was something that I should have known, and I just completely spaced it whenever I was talking about it because I acted like I had never heard about it, and apparently I had. I think that maybe the name is what throws it off because, Conceal Live is not Conceal Messenger. It's not Conceal Dedicated or Peer-to-Peer Messenger. It was Conceal Live. It's got a different name. So maybe that's what led me down the road of thinking that it was something new. Anyway, all right. Enough of that nonsense. So to be clear, all right, so let's clear this up. This is not a messenger that's running on chain. It's a peer-to-peer app with each point acting as a node. So if you're communicating with someone, there's two nodes on the network, it's you and them. And everything in between is encrypted end to end. So if there was a man in the middle, like if someone was trying to do a man in the middle attack, they wouldn't be able to do it because it's encrypted. The whole communication is encrypted from end to end. There's no servers. And if you think about this, the blockchain, like if they were trying to use the blockchain itself, it would be entirely too slow, right? But like I mentioned, you could have those nodes actually performing this function, right, to facilitate the traffic on a on-chain messaging app. But that's not what they're doing. So Conceal Live, we talked about last night. It uses DHT, distributed hash tables. We threw up the Wikipedia for that. And that's one of the building blocks of most of the peer-to-peer systems. And if I sound like I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about this, I did do a lot of research, plus CryptoX from 0x from Conceal also, was filling me in on the information. I'm going to get to his message in a little bit, so I'll actually show you what he says. We'll probably read it because it's really good. But anyway, so sending CCX in the app is going to use cloud technologies that are already in place. Mentioned that already. There's the really cool part here is that there's not going to be any barrier to entry for a new user, meaning that they're not going to have to participate in the CCX blockchain in any way in order to use Conceal Live. They can use it without worrying about the crypto stuff, although they might become curious about it because they'll see it in the app. And hopefully it will drive from the other way, like a very useful messaging system that's audio and video and text, And then, hey, look at this. There's also crypto that I can send and receive on here. So it might be kind of cool. It might be a cool entry point for new users. And the devs do confirm that the video is actually really good, top notch, right? Which is one of my concerns. I mentioned that last night. If it's not high quality, really high quality, it's going to hurt the adoption, right? Because people are really into HD. They want really great quality videos, and come to find out, it's actually a feature or a function of your own connection. Your own settings is what will limit it, right? Because it's peer-to-peer, and encrypted. So it's actually your device, your settings that are going to be affecting the video quality the most. So I thought that was pretty important to point out as well. So let's see here. Something really, there was a few people that were kind of wanting to know a little bit more about how they're doing this, right? And I've kind of briefly covered that already. But let's get a little bit further into it on how they are implementing some of these features in Conceal Live. I think it's important to kind of point this stuff out because they're using some pretty new stuff, some pretty new technologies, which I think is interesting and exciting. So let's get into that. Let's see here. Yeah, this was from CryptoX. I think I'm saying that right. Crypto 0x. 0x I think is his nickname. I don't know what they call him. But anyway, so they actually use the Conceal Live uses TLS or Transport Layer Security version 1.3 that came out. I think the paper was something in 2018, I believe, and then it was actually finalized in 2019, like mid 2019 if I remember right. And it uses perfect forward secrecy, PFS, and that's for the calls and the file transfers. With Conceal Live, the text messages are encrypted with RSA, and the peer-to-peer connections are using ICE and Turn, and I've got a web page for that as well brought up, and I'll show you that in a minute. And they also use some other PGSIP libraries, which I don't know what that is, but just know that it's development stuff. And I think that it's all relatively new capabilities. So the perfect forward feature, like I said, for the calls, it uses TLS 1.3. And it's important to note that the TLS 1.3 is fairly new successor to Secure Sockets Layer. You see these settings in your internet browser settings, so it's related to web traffic. And the TLS 1.3 is referenced in RFC 8446. And the cool thing about TLS 1.3 is it's built from the ground up as a new encryption method for environments and is an improvement by removing weak hashing algorithms such as MD5 and SHA-224. Previous versions of TLS, such as 1.2, they kind of presented this dangerous environment. Actually, they ended up being a dangerous environment because they were subject to man-in-the-middle attacks where these malicious actors could exploit those weak algorithms in the encrypted web traffic. TLS 1.3 uses ephemeral Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol, which basically just generates a one-time key that's used only for the current network session. At the end of the session, the key is disposed of. Attackers can still, now if there was a man in the middle and they were actually recording the whole communication, the ciphertext that's going across encrypted, they could still record it, and try to crack that later on. Okay, they could try to crack the encryption later on, but it's really difficult and it's time consuming and takes a huge amount of computing power, processes that it could take months to crack. So depending on the traffic, the way you can kind of look at this is, okay, so if it takes months to crack this and they did record it and they want to crack it, as long as you, just a quick example, there's plenty of them, but as long as you are, let's say that in that traffic there was usernames and passwords to your banking website. Okay, so as long as you are changing those frequently, updating your passwords as you should be, good OPSEC, right? So as long as you are changing those passwords frequently, maybe every 1 month, 2 months, whatever, then you would be safe from that type of attack, because they have recorded the data, the encrypted data, and then they've cracked it, but it has taken them a month or 2 or 3 months to crack it. So in that time, you have changed the password. So it's going to, what they are going to see unencrypted once they crack it is going to be invalid, right? Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about this whole encryption and encrypted traffic and man-in-the-middle type attacks. So let me see. I'm looking at my notes here. So the way that this works, yeah, this is a good. There's pretty good analogies. I just threw one up here. The way it works is a new key is created for each session, with the old one being thrown away. It's like opening your car door with your key, starting your car, then throwing the key out the window while you're driving. When you arrive at your destination, the car shuts off, and you get out, and the door's locked. When you need to get back in your car to go somewhere else, a new key magically appears and the process repeats itself, right? So if you think about that analogy, that's kind of what's happening with TLS 1.3. You know, a new key is generated each connection, right? So the old one is discarded. So it's a lot more secure than TLS 1.2. So cool stuff there. And TLS 1.3 also improves on the handshake requirements, essentially cutting them in half by only requiring 1 round trip to establish the secure connection, compared to TLS 1.2's 2 round trips. So in order that handshake to happen, to actually establish the connection, the secure connection, it's not half. It sounds like half, but it's not half. It takes about 3/4 as long to create a 1.3 connection as a 1.2. So it's not literally 50% or 100% faster. It's 75%. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, anyway, so it's not exactly half. Even though it cuts down half the traffic, it's not half as fast. All right, it takes half as long. It does not take half as long. It takes 3/4 of as long. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it makes sense in my mind. All right, so let's see here. So this is what I was just talking about, the 0 round trip time resumption. This is another thing that is allowed by 1.3 or TLS 1.3. It's called 0 RTT, or 0 round trip time. And for sites that you've already visited, it can do the handshake in 0 time. It doesn't take any time. So TLS 1.3 provides faster speeds and improved security, which is, like we all know, that is right up Conceal's alley, right? That's what they're all about. So this fits perfectly with their goals here. So being a peer-to-peer, communication messenger, the latency is dependent more on your own connectivity instead of the app itself. Like I was talking about earlier, let's bring up this one right here. So this is just a screenshot of the messenger. You can see, you get to use an avatar. That's cool. Okay, great. You can see that somebody's talking right here. Zemanel is talking. Tegus is in here as well. This is CryptoX, and I'm not going to fault him for wearing a San Francisco 49ers hat. But anyway, so yeah, cool stuff. He's got it just blacked out for privacy reasons, of course. And yeah, cool stuff. But yeah, the latency is dependent more on your own connectivity. And also, since it's peer-to-peer, users can actually use it while connected to the same network without internet access. So you can use it literally peer-to-peer, device to device. You don't even have to have the internet in order to use it. And the accounts that are going to be used can be created without providing any sign up or providing any personal information at all. So it's not going to be, there's no any type of KYC or account validation or anything like that. Identity validation. It uses X509 public key certificates for the secure encryption, and it does not have a limit on file sizes, speed, storage, bandwidth, or any of that stuff. So this is looking pretty good. I mean, again, I will voice my concern, that it's such a huge undertaking. Some projects that are out there, messaging projects and messaging apps have hundreds and hundreds of developers, hundreds, working on this one thing, right? And we're talking about a pretty small team here that is trying to accomplish this incredible feat of secure peer-to-peer messaging app. And I think that is commendable. That is something amazing for a small team to accomplish. So hats off to you guys for tackling this. And sorry I forgot that it was in the consensus. Again, I really thought that I had consensus down. I even did videos on it, and I felt like I knew what consensus was about or what the results were. I think I was more focused on, there's some things in consensus that I was focused on, and the peer-to-peer messenger just didn't stand out as one that I was really concerned with until this leak came out and these, pictures and stuff. It was really, really cool to find that stuff out. So anyway, let's press on a little bit further here with some more of the technologies used. So you got, for the video and voice features, a turn server is used, and that is a traversal using relay NAT, which is a protocol for relaying network traffic. So if you go, I think that it talks about in here that you can use it on your own devices, and I think that's probably what they're doing, I would imagine, because if they say that they can, you can use the peer-to-peer communications without the internet, then I would assume that's what that means. So let's look at, this is Crypto 0x's message here. So this is a good explanation. I'm going to just read it because I want to read it again so I can understand it a little bit better. Conceal, this is from the founder, lead developer, I guess. Conceal Live is truly decentralized and distributed communications app. It doesn't require any servers to relay data between users. So this is right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. No, I'm not calling him a horse, but it's just a saying that we have here in the US. So there are many advantages associated with that, including increased privacy, light infrastructure, high scalability, no bandwidth restriction other than users' internet connection limits, no size limit for file transfers, and more. This is all true, but while servers are not required, they are still used in 5 specific cases, and that's for push notifications, the OpenDHT proxy that distributed hash tables, Bootstrap, name server, and turn. Okay, so they're using another server for the turn. They're probably doing that on their their own infrastructure, the servers that they pay for. So that's probably what that is referring to. The first 3 cases where a server can be used for Messenger are all related to OpenDHT, the technology allowing messenger devices to find each other on the internet without a server. Computers use IP addresses to communicate with each other online, but it is usually dynamic and therefore changes over time. OpenDHT provides a way to identify devices on the network with a unique ID and to retrieve their IP address without knowing it beforehand, allowing them to communicate reliably, even if it changes. However, it needs to run continuously in the background to keep connections to the network open and listened to changes for alerting the user of a new call or message. I was kind of wondering how they were going to do that too, because if the user isn't expecting you to call them, how is that going to work? So it's using the OpenDHTs. This can be a problem on mobile devices because maintaining these connections can take a toll on the battery and data usage. Both Android and iOS have a built-in mechanism for delivering push notifications to them through either Google or Apple's servers. While it is not aligned with our goal of making a completely distributed app, it is the only way to notify mobile users while the Messenger app is not in the foreground. That is why we will need to create the OpenDHT proxy, a server that listens for changes on the OpenDHT network and sends notifications to Messenger devices through Apple or Google's push notification servers. No personal data is ever sent this way, not even in encrypted form. The proxy only alerts users. It looks like he's writing this for like an explanation, clearly, probably for print and media and stuff, because it's well written. So let's see, where was I? However, it is less reliable because Android and iOS may stop the app at any time. The third case is where a server is used is the bootstrap, each device running Conceal Live as a node, like I was talking about earlier, the peer-to-peer part, in the OpenDHT distributed network. However, to establish the first connection with it, devices need to know at least one other peer beforehand. The bootstrap server is simply an OpenDHT node that we maintain and keep online at all times. Okay, so that explains how they're going to allow users to contact each other when there's not expected to be a communication already. So that's cool. Conceal Live is configured to join the network through it when it connects for the first time. The name server is used for resolving Conceal Live usernames. Conceal Live accounts all have 40-character long unique ID, but since this is impractical for humans to remember, we created a way to associate it with a username. Not sure if we could adapt the current code. That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, it would be awesome if you could use the same code, the conceal.id code. This right here. If you could use this for the name of the username for the Messenger app, that would be freaking sweet. That way you're not having to double up with that stuff. That would be neat, super neat. The last, not the least case, is the turn server. It's only used by Conceal Live in situations where a peer-to-peer connection cannot be established to relay data between users. Okay, so that pretty much clears up, I think, anyway. It clears up all the nonsense that I was saying last night, so that's good. I think that it's clear now. At least it's clear to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it clear, or is it clear as mud, or what's the deal here? Y'all think we're good? I'm actually going to check the chat. Here we go. I'm over here. What are y'all talking about? What's up, Yashnik? What's up, Crypto Mining Lifer? Deadwood. Chris from New Mexico. What? Jonas P. What's up, man? Who'd I miss? Serpent. What is up, man? All right. So I think, yeah, clear as sandy water, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot clearer in my mind anyway. Definitely compared to last night. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that now. I think I can get. I'll be able to sleep tonight knowing that I kind of cleared it up. At least in my mind. I don't know if it's clear to y'all or not. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Boot to Thrill. Thanks for, I didn't know you were in here, man. Thanks for checking out the stream. Boot to Thrill is from Conceal. He's on the team, part of the club, the inner circle. So that's awesome. Yeah, I used a lot of information, obviously, from 0x. He helped me a lot, and I think there was a couple other folks in there that were chiming in. Yeah, Tegas and CryptoX. Yeah, 0x. So hopefully I didn't mess up too bad. What are y'all talking about? Y'all went to a... Where are y'all talking about going? Patriots games? Oh, because I mentioned the 49ers on 0x's hat. Yeah, that's true. I'm not really into sports, so I was just trying to make a funny comment. All right, guys, I'm going to end it right there. I know this was kind of shorter than usual. I got a little bit of a late start, but I want to try to keep the streams compressed a little bit, a little shorter, more concise. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Hopefully my internet stays up and I don't get hit by lightning again. So hopefully I stay safe. Y'all stay safe too. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Stay savage.